This is Dave, and I'm here with Ethan, and together we are Dave and Ethan's 2000 Inch Weird Al Podcast, episode 20 Inch.
On this episode, we interview Weird Al's longtime keyboard player, Rubén Valtierra.
It's Dave and Ethan's 2000 Inch Weird Al Podcast.
It's a podcast about Weird Al.
It's Dave and Ethan's 2000 Inch Weird Al Podcast.
Seriously, the whole podcast is about Weird
It's
Al.
Dave and Ethan's 2000 Inch Weird Al Podcast.
You don't have to listen, but we're glad you are.
Dave and Ethan's 2000 Inch Weird Al Podcast.
Big news this week. Everyone loved our episode with Portugal the Man. So happy to have John and Zach on as guests. They were so much fun and such huge Weird Al fans.
I loved that episode. I listened back to it and I just enjoyed every second of it. And the really exciting thing is Portugal the Man tweeted out a link to our interview, which was so cool. And then Al himself retweeted their tweet about our interview with Portugal the Man.
I know, that's so cool.
It's so exciting, and I'm just so thrilled. We had just so much fun. It was just such a fun interview all around.
Yeah, and I got a lot of positive feedback about it, so I'm really happy with how it came out. Also, Ethan, more big news this week. We finally got a new music video, Harvey the Wonder Hamster.
Yes, I got the alert because the only person I follow on YouTube is Al, because I want to know the second anything comes out. And of course, Al finally released the Harvey the Wonder Hamster video, and it is a familiar video to those who went to the Strings Attached tour, especially familiar to those who went to 18 or more performances, because it was the video that they played on the screen while Al and the band were singing and performing the song. And I remember seeing it on stage and I was thinking, this is not a video I've ever seen before, but there were certain elements that kind of looked similar to me. And it turns out it was animated by Jarrett Heather. It's the same guy who animated the Word Crimes video.
Yeah, that is actually really cool. He does a great job in that Word Crimes video, so I'm thrilled that he got another video out there.
Totally, yeah.
If you guys haven't seen this video yet, it just came out. It just was released yesterday, right? You can find it on Al's YouTube. You can find it. He linked it on all of his social media sites too. It's really easy to find. And I'm really happy because I was there for the world premiere of the video. It happened in Clearwater, Florida at Ruth Eckerd Hall on June 5th, the first show of Strings Attached.
That's true. I didn't even consider that. So you got to see it first ever. Were you the first comment on the YouTube video?
I posted me too. Is that what they're supposed to do?
I don't know. Just a lame claim to fame reference there. I wanted to give a huge shout out. This is a guy who was at the Toronto show, and I don't know that I actually met him in person. He made this really cool artwork that Al posted on his Instagram of Al and the band as Hanna-Barbera characters. And he saw how much I loved that, and he made us as Hanna-Barbera characters.
Yeah, I absolutely love them. I absolutely love his style. It is amazing. I'm so excited. I can't wait for us to use them in all of our merchandise and everything. I think they actually would make a great bumper sticker.
I agree. And if you haven't seen them yet, head over to our social media at 2000 Inch. Posted them on Instagram. We also posted them on Twitter and Facebook. All of it is at 2000 Inch. You can easily find us there. And check out Chris. He's got some really cool artwork. I love the work he did of Al and the band. And he's got some other cool Al-related stuff as well.
For sure, absolutely. Ethan, I'm really, really excited about this week's guest. He first started playing with Al in October of 1991. It was Dr. Demento's 20th anniversary special, and he's been playing keyboards with Al ever since.
Yes, Rubén. He is, of course, who on the bonus episodes, we like to talk about the Rubén-peror. And we were so excited. We were able to sit down with him on the last show of our run of shows at the Abbotsford Center in Abbotsford, British Columbia on August 21st. And Dave, we recorded this backstage. We're supposed to record it in his dressing room, but some things got mixed up and we weren't actually able to record it in his dressing room.
Yeah, this was an adventure. We actually were trying to find a quiet spot backstage to do this, and Rubén just suggested, let's just do it on the loading dock, which is probably the loudest place in the entire venue.
Yeah, so we just we dragged over a couple chairs and we just sat down in the middle of this big cement room, and we were just you know what, screw it. We're going to have fun. And the audio's not crystal clear, but there's definitely some background noise, and there's a couple interruptions. We get a couple folks walking by and stuff. But I had such a blast talking to Rubén. Without further ado, let's check out our interview with Rubén Valtierra.
Well, here we are with Ethan Ullman and the great Dave Rossi, who once said, "I have space for you on my body." I put a likeness, and I said, "Where?" And he pointed, and I said, "No way!" All right, see, the interview has started officially.
All right. Well, that actually, let's do an introduction. So,
Where am I? Why am I here?
So we are backstage at the Abbotsford, British Columbia Weird Al show.
Where the heck is that?
I don't know. I'm not sure you do. I'm not sure
I
Dave
don't know
does.
where I told you.
But we are here with the great Rubén Valtierra.
Oh, very nice. You are my friends for life.
That's
you
right.
You said my name right.
I said Rubén.
Yes.
Oh, I was
most
shamed a
people
lot
say,
the first time I interviewed
you.
you.
Should be. Reuben's a sandwich.
Right.
It's a good sandwich.
But how much does it bother you when people call you Rubén, for example,
Well, I mean,
or rather
I
than
don't get it.
Rubén?
I don't get it because it's like if you say something like Tomas, people don't go, "Oh, Thomas." If you say something like Jose, people don't go, "Oh, Jose." So when you right when you say something like Rubén, then they go, "Oh, Reuben." It's like, well, who are you listening to? What is going on? Anyway, do I get to edit all this
Sure.
stuff? Good. Let's start over.
We're here in the backstage of Abbotsford, Canada, British Columbia for the Weird Al Strings Attached tour with the great Rubén Valtierra.
Oh man, you guys! Ta-da! See, another one of my fans.
Yes. My co-host here, David Rossi, he is a prominent Weird Al fan. He's known for many things, including the Hollywood Star, for his collection, for his Weird Al tattoos, and he does not have a Rubén Valtierra tattoo.
I have one. Like I said, he showed me the space where it could fit. I said no, no. I'm trying to keep this a family show. Anyway. Nothing more about that. Who is this lady lurking in the background? There's a woman lurking in the background.
That's your fan. That's the homeless woman.
Oh, that's the homeless woman. Okay, no, I was talking about this other homeless woman.
Have there ever been a Rubén tattoo? Has anyone come up to you with a Rubén tattoo?
No, I would probably run away if I saw anybody who had a Rubén tattoo. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you if just some stranger showed up and here I am, look, here's my Ethan Ullman tattoo.
Yeah,
You're
I would.
like, who are you? I'm not telling. Wouldn't you run? Come on.
Well,
But
Rubén,
of course, the thing is, Dave is
This
a
is the
great,
big
great
reveal.
cat.
yeah, Dave has something.
You're
that he'd like
kidding.
to-
You're kidding.
I am kidding.
Okay.
We're kidding.
Thank God. Do you laugh as much with Steve? No. Do you laugh as much with Chemo? No. Come on. I'm the guy. I write all the jokes.
That's right.
He's on. Remember, I told you he's a puppet. He's on strings. Eat it. Right? It's me controlling all this. I wrote all
Well,
this
one
stuff.
thing that I want to ask you about, and anyone who's seen the Strings Attached tour, or really any of the full production tours, will remember your character you play at the end after the encore. Come out from the Star Wars. You come out wearing a robe. Does this make any
No,
sense? You don't remember this?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Yes, the evil Darth Rubén, as I've been called. Somebody wanted to call me the evil Rubén Emperor.
Rube Emperor.
Is that you?
That was me.
Oh man, get this.
Well, I wanted to ask you about
Shut
that.
it down. This is over.
I think Rube Emperor, it's more canon to the Star Wars
That
universe.
sounds like some strange salve that you use for weird diseases. Here, rub some of this Rube Emperor on it. I'm just looking. It's the great JW. The Bob Barker of rock and roll is approaching. Look at that. This is like we are graced and honored.
We are being graced with our previous guest, JW. Hello, JW.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? It's good to see you guys.
Look at that. Look at that. He's got his announcer
that's
voice.
absolutely
Hey,
correct.
I am the Bob Barker of rock and roll.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. with his little mic. You know, you seen the mic? This
Yes,
little mic?
yes.
It's like
What do you
it's
call
my
it, a little
idea.
mic?
That was my idea. Well, your wife, forget it. Edit. Okay, once again, who is that woman in the back?
Oh, my
She's
gosh, I
lurking.
Well, Rubén, we wanted to ask you about this tour. You know, what are some songs you like performing? What are some of your favorites?
I told Al when I saw the set list in the beginning, as soon as I saw Jurassic Park, I said, this will be a showstopper. And the thing is that I've got a very substantial part on it. I get to be very pianistic, and I get to do my Rubarachi thing on it. I love that. Yeah, thank you. And he, lets me do it. Usually he's very, specific about the parts that he wants you to play, and he's been very generous and just letting me be very flamboyant on as flamboyant as I want. I don't go too far, or it might make him look at me and go, "What are you doing?" But I knew it would be a showstopper, especially with the orchestra. And especially when the orchestra has been playing with us for a couple of times, as in this orchestra. This is what are we calling this? The Victoria Orchestra or the Northwest Orchestra? We had the
Vancouver Orchestra, I don't know.
in that they've been in this corner,
Right, in British Columbia, right.
Right, and then we had the Seattle Orchestra. How many shows did you see?
It'll be the 18th
This
one.
number 18.
Well, how many in Seattle did you see?
All three.
Okay, so you saw that it just got stronger and stronger and
Yes.
stronger.
Definitely.
And so songs like that, they really benefit from repetition. And so the orchestras are that song. I love that song. The other song is Jackson Park Express. Is just a quirky song that you can't fake it. You can't just like settle in and just go, oh, this is nice, because the chords are just changing randomly every bar. And if you kind of space out or something, you can't just like fake it, and because usually, if you allow me to get talk shop musically, songs will be in the same key, and so you could actually just like hit a common note that'll go across all keys. Some people, when they get lost or space out, they trill. That's the saying. When in doubt, I see if I already lost Ethan over here. He's looking around. Where's the jelly beans? Let's talk about spam. Anyway, the thing is that things are flying by. There's so many random chords and key changes that if you space out, you lose it. And it's hard to get back on track. And so, in other words, it keeps me on my toes, and I love that. Otherwise, if you've been playing the same song for 30 years, it's easy for you to kind of like going, gee, I wonder where Dave and Ethan are right now. I wonder what they're doing right now. And it's like, oh my God! And who's that woman lurking in the background? You haven't introduced me to her. It's like,
We don't know.
we don't know. This
is our
woman of
case.
mystery.
This is our occasional co-host,
Co-host.
Jackie Rossi.
Oh, hello. How are you? Is that your better half?
That's my wife, yes.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. How do you let him get away? What? What? Is there something of you anywhere? Your guests will have no idea what's going on here. This is a complete chaos. You've descended into chaos. You've lost control of the interview. Okay, so anyway, what did I say? I said.
You touched on something I wanted to ask you about. When you are on stage, can you see the audience? Do you get distracted when people are shining their phones and waving their hands and doing all sorts of stuff?
No, not at all.
You
Not
don't
at all.
get distracted, or you don't see them?
I just don't care about them. No, even the women, I gotta laugh out of the girl. No, you know what? It's like the first couple of months, couple of weeks that I was out with Al, back in the 1800s. It's like it was cool, and it's like seeing everybody really get into it. But it's just the way it is. This is what I expect. This is what we expect. I mean, for all the effort that Al puts into everything, the production, performance, everything, you expect the people to go nuts and without kissing butt too much. It's like these are the most, these are the brightest and smartest audiences that anybody could have, because they get it, So they're there, they get it all. They're rabid fans. You just expect people just to be going nuts. If they're not going nuts, then I get distracted. Right. Okay, because like on Amish, I mean, you know that everybody's like doing this, and then there'll be a group of like 3 people that aren't doing that, and I'm like going, what's up with them? And it's like I'm going, it's a family. I wonder what they're. I should stop while I'm up ahead, but I'm like going, is this like an Amish family that's like saying, we don't approve of this? No, do not wave your hands, Junior. Or they're just so that's what's distracting. But it's actually more fulfilling actually to see all the people either smiling, going nuts. The more nuts they go, the more fulfilling it is. So, no, not distracting at all.
So you mentioned back in the 1800s when you first started with Al. What was your first project with Al, and how did you get involved with the band?
Well, you know the story. I mean, the story is that I was asked to be in the orchestra for the Dr. Demento 20th anniversary. And to make the story short, because the woman is falling asleep over here, to make the story short and keep it somewhat interesting, there was a 20-piece orchestra, and Demento was doing his 20th anniversary thing. It was being film taped with Jay Levy directing it, and there were a bunch of guest stars, and one of them was Weird Al Yankovic. I had been in town in LA for about a year, and I got asked to do this. I show up, we're sitting there with the orchestra. I look at the guitarist, some very unkempt, poor looking homeless individual. And so I thought it was part of a bit or something. No, it was Jim Kimo West with his, back in the days of his long hair. And I didn't know him, and I said, so what's your story? And he goes, well, we're actually part of we're in Al's band. And I go, what, the rhythm section is? And yeah. And I go, oh, that's cool. Well, where's your keyboardist? And he goes, well, we really don't have one right now. And I go, after just being there for almost a year, I go, cha-ching. And I had to do some shtick with Al. And so Ethan, let's talk about who's texting you right now.
I'm looking at the next question to ask you, Rubén.
Okay. So the thing is that I was asked to do shtick with Al, and I said, I want him to remember who I am. And I went in and I padded my part. And it's a long story, but basically it ended up with me in a bloody heap on the bottom of a riser, having torn down all these curtains and stuff, and because he had poked me in the eye, and I just went flying off a 6-foot riser. And the audience went nuts, and Jay Levy said, God, and they all went back to, find me, in a crumpled, bloody heap, at the bottom of the riser. But the thing is, when they got to me, they found me on a giant pile of giant pillows that I had found backstage and put there specifically because I was going to do this and make sure Al knew and remembered who I was. And a couple of months later, when he went on the Off the Deep End tour, they called me. And, you know, I was new in LA. I had talent. I was young. I had good looks. I was going to be a star. And then I met Al. I could have been a contender. And here I am, sitting in a loading dock with a guy with a bunch of tattoos, and a guy who keeps looking at his Facebook requests and could care less about this interview. And there's a lady in back who's snoring. I could have been a contender. Anyway, so, you know, next.
I'd love to get back to this current tour, Strings Attached. You have to perform with an orchestra. This is new, this tour. How have you and the band had to adjust?
It's easy. It's easy. I feel for the conductor because, first of all, if it was a different conductor every night, it would be chaos and terrible, and you would have heard about it because there's just no way that you can. The show is so tight, and the parts are so hard, the orchestrations are so difficult that you need to be. The people are sent all the music beforehand. They need to study it. Some do, some don't. They need to study, and then they come in and they do a rehearsal. The conductor, if he was new every day, wouldn't know. I mean, we are a well-oiled machine. You know this. You know everything. There's no patter. There's nothing. It's just boom, 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 boom. We're on a 90-minute schedule with the orchestra. If we go over, it's a lot of money in overtime, and management does not want that. So we have to stick. We come within a 2 or 3 seconds of going overtime all the time. It is that tight. Wow. When I'm doing my little shtick, I've got the tour manager in my ears saying short, super short. Telling me how long I should go, or go. Well, I'll take your time, or so you can see that sometimes I do like little really fast ones. It's because I've been told keep it shorter. We're going to go overtime, and management does not want that. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars, So the thing is that it's that well orchestrated, well scripted, well choreographed, and if a new conductor's there every day, he doesn't know. That the guitarist ends this, or that I end this song, and look over here, look over there. So it would be crazy. So the conductor, we bring the conductor along with us, and he rehearses the orchestra for like 2.5 hours before the show. Wow. And so he's not only doing that, he's doing a complete show afterwards. And this is every day. So without him, it would be a drag, you just couldn't do it. It wouldn't have been good. But he's there, he's doing it, and you can see it's a great show. So I have a little bit of the orchestra in my in-ears, but mostly I'm just paying attention to the rhythm section, keeping it as solid, making it as solid of a foundation as possible, giving Al everything he needs. And then the orchestra is just icing on the cake, And like I said, if it wasn't done this way, I'm sorry, I'll go on record though. It was my idea to actually, when we heard about this, people, the band's going, oh no, we're gonna have to rehearse with the orchestra every day. And I'll go on record. They can poo-poo it, whatever they want, but I said, record the band doing the show. And give them a mix in those side fills, in the monitors. Give the orchestra a mix. When the conductor comes in, start the show and play to the show and have the orchestra do that. And they said, no. And then they finally said, okay. let's do it. And that's what those side fills are that you see, and that's what makes this thing, work as well as it does. So there's all the inside scoop of it.
So that's a very tight schedule that you have up on stage. I mean, very scripted,
Very
almost
choreographed.
very choreographed, scripted. So one that was a little less scripted was last tour, the Vanity tour. So how is that different than performing with orchestra? What was your experience like on the Vanity tour?
Well, I mean, first of all, as I've said to some people, and they don't disagree, this is the Vanity tour. He thought the last tour was the Vanity tour because he was performing his own stuff and this and that. No, he came out to a lot of people. It was his coming out tour, I believe, as just, this is not a novelty. This is not a comedian. This is a full-on, pop star, an accomplished artist, an accomplished vocalist, a rock star. That's what I thought that last tour was. This is the Vanity tour. I've got an orchestra. I've got 3 background singers, right? This is the Vanity tour. And the thing, well, it's true. And the thing is that, it's like, this is costing a lot of money to rehearse these guys, not go over time. Some of these people are being bussed in, how about the cost of the ferries going back and forth from Victoria to Vancouver? You put in all those costs, and so this is, I don't see this happening too often.
Right.
Now, what will happen more often is what was called the Vanity tour. He's going to come back and he's going to do that again. He thought it wouldn't sell. The tour manager was standing next to him during performances and saying, "Oh my God, we could have booked places twice as big as this," because we sold out, and people just kept coming. And Al was amazed. He's like, "Oh my God, you really, really, really like me," and so going on with that, you guys in sync? You guys on the same page? Okay. Going on with that, remember that the set list was, John says it was 50 songs or something, and I was here saying 60 songs, but it felt like it. But these are all of Al's originals. 50 rotating songs, a rotating set list. We never got to be comfortable because it's like here we're doing the same stuff over and over and over, right? Where it's tight, we got this. You don't even have to think about it. It's like tying your shoes. But with the tour before, we had to think about, real hard because we might have played this one song 2 weeks ago. So it's like, and maybe twice 2 weeks ago, right? I was like, wow, we got this now. Now we're warmed up. And then you don't play it again for 2 weeks. It's like, what did I do here? So that was tough. That kept us on our toes. And then of course the cover tunes, afterwards, the random cover tunes, which were really hard on Jim because Al and John went in and picked their favorite eclectic rock classics, Particle Man, Peaches.
My 2 favorite on the tour.
You're right, but you got a different sensibility than most people. I was digging Saturday Night's All Right for Friday. I was digging Funk 39 by the James Gang. I was even Born to Be Wild. Just the rockers. And then anyway, the fact that John and Al picked the tunes. They didn't realize that most of these tunes were guitar driven. You had to play the guitar part perfectly or else it didn't sound like the tune, and you had to have that sound. So there was a big load for Jim. I just sat back and played appropriate B3 parts or piano parts and this and that. Of course, I had to do that Tom Lehrer tune.
Yes, the elements.
And thank you, I did crush it. Thank you very much. And because that was basically a classical tune, that was that was from the Pirates of Penzance, Gilbert and Sullivan. If you know that, that's what that song was taken from.
Oh, okay.
And so it's a classical thing, and I had to play it perfectly. And of course, in my hometown, or a place that I lived for a long time, Monterey, with all my friends watching. So I had to play it good. What's next?
Well, actually, I wanted to ask more strings attached. You guys you share a bus, and this tour you added on 3 backup singers. They're on the bus. Is it all flowers and pink? What is the difference on the bus?
The difference on the bus is that we can't walk around nude anymore. There's a lot more. I won't go there.
Okay.
No. I could get even more evil. The difference is that the ladies are wonderful, beautiful, very talented, very sweet women, and we tried our hardest to be gentlemen. But now it's towards the end of the tour, and now they're talking like sailors, and we've obviously rubbed off on them. But they're amazing because they actually go to their bunks before we even take off. They're already in their bunks asleep. They're being good little girls. They're behaving themselves quite nicely. That's all bad. I didn't mean that. No, they are beautiful women. It's a pleasure to have them on board. But at the same time, it's been kind of fun to be their mentors, for the touring stuff, because they came on with giant suitcases, and and it's just like they learned that all you need is just a little bag, because we're in and we're out of the bus, back in, out, in, out. You got to be able to make a quick escape, and they're not complaining at all. They're wonderful. So it's nice. I don't know when it'll happen again.
So, aside from the Valtierra Latin Orchestra, do you have any other projects or bands you perform with, or when you're not touring with Al?
Well, I've been calling that thing the Latin Orchestra because of me, my penchants for salsa and Latin things, because I, liked playing Latin jazz and this and that. There's not a lot of Latin jazz players up where I live now, since I live up in Sonoma County, up in the wine country in California. And so it's actually easy for me to start playing more jazz. I'm doing more stuff like the stuff that Miles Davis was doing back in 1964 with Herbie Hancock and Tony Williams, and just more heady kind of exploring jazz. Pretty stuff, but I'm not forcing the Latin stuff down their throats, especially, but because they really, people laugh, but I'm very serious when I say they just really want to hear the Grateful Dead, and I'm being very serious. People laugh, but it's really true. They look at my stuff and go, oh, "Okay, that's nice. I guess do you do trucking?" And I'm faced with that. So now I've got. I'm just going towards more of a jazz thing. The loud stuff for me, it's kind of just going away. I'm more into the introspective, quiet stuff, and there is an audience for that up there. So I'm looking to that as this winds up. And you look like you're starting to wind this thing up too.
Well, this is our last show of the tour, which is very sad. We've both been at 17 so far. This will be our 18th and final.
Favorite?
Oh man, I mean, it's so hard to pick. They were all so great.
What's your favorite song?
I would have to go. Okay, Ruben's holding the. I really love that Weasel Stomping Day made the cut.
Was there too much of them? Too much of that?
Of what?
With the weasel and the hamster stomping day and the other one and the
No, I love that.
Harvey and the
I love that.
Right? Some people were saying, "Wow."
I mean, the same way there were so many songs on the last tour that I never thought I'd hear live. Those are two songs I never thought I'd hear live, and I don't know that we'll hear them again unless there's another orchestra tour, because you really need the orchestra to do them justice.
Well, we have our magic, that we can do to be able to pull it off. But the thing is it's really about the production aspect. It's an orchestra, and it's all these people doing a thing. We could do the songs again. You're right. You may not see those songs again, except as like filler, for during the costume changes and stuff, because that's the first time you actually saw that.
Right.
I remember when he used to actually do the thing from Al TV and sang to Harvey, and then would toss him. That's what I was waiting for. When toss the hamster.
So let's flip the question around to you. What were some of your favorite venues and shows that you performed on this tour?
Berkeley, the Greek Theater, because I've played the Greek Theater a bunch of times with Al down in LA, and the Greek Theater that I grew up with was Berkeley. That's where I saw a bunch of great acts, from Oscar Peterson to Herbie Hancock to Robin Ford and the Yellow Jackets to David Sanborn, Al Jarreau, and that's the one I grew up with. And to be able to, and it was a Bill Graham, part of a Bill Graham production, and he always did it right. I don't know if you got to, did you go?
We were not.
Backstage, it was just beautiful festoon with all sorts of, Chinese lanterns and just beautiful lights and stuff, and they just and you feel such a part of history, cultural history, and you're right there on the Berkeley campus where so much stuff went down, free speech movement, all and the birth of hippiedom and all that. And considering that I lived in and went to school in Santa Cruz during the hippie days, it meant a lot to me. Seattle was cool. I was really happy to bring my lovely wife, LaDawn, and have her there at the Seattle shows, because she has seen some goofy shows where we weren't supposed to be there, like off the side of a bowling alley, with the bed sheet as the screen. And I say, really, LaDawn, it's really bigger than this, And then for her to finally see those shows, and the fact that they just got stronger and stronger with every time because of the orchestra, and the repetition, and then of course the crowds going nuts, and then launching into Nirvana in Seattle. It's like I took my ears out just so I could hear the crowds going nuts during that.
Well, that was one of the favorite parts for us when we were discussing the concert, hearing people cheer for every time Nirvana said, or every time Seattle said.
Right.
People went nuts.
I know, and because I took my ears out. I knew what it was playing. I didn't have to hear it, and I was there, but just to hear them go nuts, and watch Al spill the water on everybody. That didn't I tell you that? A couple of weeks into the first tour, way back when, I was just punking out during Nirvana because it was on the first tour, and I went out to the front of the stage and was like just posturing, being a punk, and people going, ah! And I had a glass of water, and I went out there and just said, oh yeah, you punks, take that, and they all went, ah, like that. And that was fun, Watch me on the Arsenio thing. If you've ever seen the video from the Arsenio thing, you can see me in at the end do a backflip, because I was bummed out that I saw the TV, the cameras hadn't, given me a shot at all. So I said, screw this, I'm getting my shot. And I went behind Al and did a backflip, right? I don't do that anymore. But so it was in those days where I went out and I splashed the audience. And after the show, Al comes up to me and goes, Rubén, the water thing, don't do that again. And so the next night, what happens?
Oh no.
He comes out and he does the water thing. Always stealing my ideas.
Wow.
Hey, let's see. Dare to be stupid? The girls? Can I have a volunteer? Right?
Was that your thing?
What do you think?
Of course.
Of course, once he finds out.
I love that.
This is like 200 motels and talking about Zappa. You know, in the background, there's a pillow with Zappa. You know what I'm talking about. It's like, the man, he's always watching us. There's Al. What? And he's going to go back and look at the tapes. Rubén! Is it true? Is that with you? But the girls love doing it, you know, and the crowd loves it. Right? Doesn't it seem right?
I do it
Right?
from the audience.
Right? Doesn't it seem right? Can I have a volunteer? And they do it like the robot thing.
Robot, yeah.
You know, that's right. I pull the strings. I pull the strings. He's a puppet.
So back to
Back to reality.
back to Smells Like Nirvana in Seattle. Are there other songs that you see kind of get a hometown bump when you're in a city?
Looking forward to Minnesota, I suppose, for the twine ball thing. And what I'm liking right now, when it comes to playing, is as graciously, as humbly as I can put it, I am really happy about when it comes to the whole orchestra thing. I'm happy that they're doing a bunch of things that I used to do that I don't have to worry about. I'm just playing piano, but I'm also able to help Al on some things because he was doing the accordion on twine ball, and he gets excited and this starts getting out, you know, and so I'm there and we're holding it together, and I'm telling you, the songs, as dopey as some people might think they are, and the music is just really solid right now. The guys are all on the same page. We're just super listening to each other real hard, and the band just sounds great. You know, I know you hear this. You know,
That's why we're seeing 18 shows.
but other places that I know of that get a bump or something.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. What do you think?
Oh, how about in Lancaster in Amish Paradise?
In the beginning, yeah, but we haven't been there forever. You know, they had a comedian open for us one time. He was the Amish comedian. He came dressed up like this and with a wheelbarrow and told really lame jokes, and they threw food at him.
Oh no.
All right, Rubén, we're going to ask the final question.
Okay.
The final question, everyone's been wondering. We need to know your favorite color and your favorite number.
My favorite color is green. And my favorite number used to be like, I don't know, either like 24 or 36. Or 7 is good too, because there's a spiritual thing going on with it. Are you serious? Really? Are we talking about jelly beans too?
That was our final question. Rubén, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a blast speaking with you.
My pleasure, guys. Good to see you. And the lovely lady who's lurking in the background.
Hello, this is Al, and you're listening to Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
Huge thank you to Rubén Valtierra. What an awesome interview. I had a blast talking to him. And despite, some of the echoes and background noise, I think it turned out great. And that was really fun to listen back to.
Yeah, Rubén is such a fun guy to talk to. And he's such a funny guy. I mean, you have to be funny, I guess, to be in Weird Al's band.
He is, yeah, he's nonstop jokes. I never knew when he was kidding, when he was joking. Always laughing when we're talking to Rubén.
Extra special thank you to Chris Sierre for those amazing Hanna-Barbera style drawings of Ethan and myself. You can check out Chris at Chris Sierre on Instagram. That's ChrisCiere. We also want to thank all of our listeners, and especially those who subscribe. If you like this podcast, please subscribe. It means a lot to us. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere you can stream podcasts.
Yes, so go check them out. go to the back catalog, check out our bonus centimeter episodes if you haven't already. Every single Weird Al show Dave or I went to, we have a review of, and we're still releasing them, so keep checking back. And of course, we have the full episodes that come out every Wednesday.
Yes, and you can check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at 2000inch and 2000inch.com. We also have a Facebook group.
Sometimes we post like secret bonus pictures and that kind of stuff, so you don't want to miss that out on the Facebook group. And when you're posting about us, use hashtag 2000inch.
We have so many great guests coming up over the next several weeks. If you subscribe, that's the only way you're going to ensure that you get to hear the episodes the second they are released.
And if you don't listen the second they're released, don't worry, you can listen anytime to any episode that we've ever put out. Just head over to 2000inch.com or just check it out in iTunes or Google Play or wherever. And if you're really feeling spunky, give us a call, 347-SPATULA. That's 347-772-8852. We love hearing from you. Leave us a message. Maybe we'll even play it on there.
That was Dave and Ethan's 2000 Inch Weird Al Podcast, episode 20 Inch.